I'll trade this thing in next year and go to something else,
Oh,
like
when he's
whatever.
playing the
I'm
field.
just letting everybody know, like, what I'll get we're gonna get what we're
Is
gonna
that
get,
he's like on RV Tinder right now. Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Jeremy.
and we are the authors of Where Should We Camp Next?
And where should we camp next? National parks.
This season we are back with a brand new RV and brand new adventures.
Join us now as we cover the best campgrounds, the best rigs, the best food, and the best gear to bring with you when you go.
So pull up a chair and join us around the digital campfire.
This is the RV Atlas. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the RV Atlas. It's the second episode of the 9th year of the RV Atlas. Stephanie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
You've been going from meeting to meeting to meeting. Like, I feel
Yeah.
lucky that I have you right now, to be honest. You have that look like you just came off 3 meetings in a row.
I came off a lot more than 3 meetings, but
Well, thank you for joining us. Um,
trying to get into the different headspace.
well, let's get there. Let's get to that different headspace. We have 4 objectives for today's podcast. So I'm gonna tell our listeners, and I'm gonna tell you.
That sounded like I was still in another meeting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be too
4
business-like.
objectives.
I want our listeners to know what we're gonna do this episode so they can decide if they wanna listen, and, of course, they will decide to listen because we love our listeners and they're very loyal. So, let's talk about why we didn't buy the RVs we didn't buy, okay? This is a follow-up of last week's episode. Then let's talk about all the reasons why we did buy the Grand Design 2800BH and talk about, some of the things that were hangups that we don't necessarily love. Um, then after that, we'll come back and talk about modifications that we want to make. We've actually already started making a couple, but I think over the next 6 months, we're definitely doing some mods on this one. And I've never really been in that mentality before. But with this RV, there are things I just want to
That's
add.
such a ridiculous statement. We've done so many
I didn't say
mods.
we haven't done mods. I said that my point was you've dragged me kicking and screaming to do mods in the past. And now I'm like, yeah, we're going to do them.
Really? I dragged you kicking
It's
and
been a joke
screaming
on
to
the
put in the
podcast, like, I
Truma
don't like
AquaGo and I
the
don't know. All
AquaGo,
right.
not so much, but,
And
there's just certain
solar
yeah, but now
and
we've had
water
now but
filtration.
look, we've done all those things over the years, now I can't live without them.
Yeah,
The first time we did them, I
I
was like, "Well,
know.
why are
That's
we
the
gonna do
problem.
that?" Right?
Yeah.
And then actually in the last short segment, we'll come back and we'll talk about, some modifications that people in the RV Atlas group on Facebook are gonna make this year too, because I asked in the group, like, "What modifications is everybody making?" And 50 or 60 people answered with the mods they're making. And it's kinda
Ooh.
interesting because there would be, like, 8 or 9 people who said they were doing the same thing. So it's almost like
Mhm.
certain mods become on trend or on point
They're trending. Yeah, sure. Of
or
course, you see it other
accessible
places. Yeah,
and easy
I
for
think so.
people. Okay. So let's dive in and let's talk about the RVs we didn't buy. Okay. Because in the last episode, we teased everybody. We said, here are the 5 major contenders. And then we revealed on social media that we bought the Grand Design Imagine 2800 BH, which we are not saying is the perfect RV that has everything we want, but has just a lot of what we wanted. So, Stephanie, why didn't we buy either a Jayco Red Hawk or a Gray Hawk Class C?
I think, we stayed true to something that we've told people over and over again over the years, and just one of our guiding principles in, like, this area of RV purchase is that we've always wanted to sort of minimize, not like to the very greatest extent, but sort of find that sweet spot between the money spent and the money left over to enjoy the actual hobby, right? So the actual hobby for us is RVing, like camping, going places, traveling. And we've always been really careful about pushing that budget over to the point where we feel like that expendable income part of our budget gets limited because we're paying so much for the RV that we don't get to maybe take the trips that we want to take. Um and as we talked about it, the more we were just like, that's the issue here is no matter whether we could, right? This isn't
Yeah, we
everybody's
could
budget
get a
is
loan
different.
for a
It
motorhome.
Yeah,
The
like right,
the
like, whether
monthly
we
payment
could
was
or not.
yeah, the monthly payment, like, when I looked on paper at the monthly payment, I was like, "Man, that's brutal." Like, I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
happy writing
because
that
a
check
lot of
every month.
people right. Yeah, it's just that kind of, like, car pay like fancy car payment or whatever, and so the whole thing was just like, at the end of the day, it was just kinda like, we don't wanna do that, and it's not just about the money that you spend on the rig. This is another thing that we know very well being in this industry, is it is just more expensive to maintain and care for a drivable, a motorized, than it is a towable. And something that we've always loved about having towables is that just the maintenance cost over the year for everything, insurance, oil, like you don't have to pay for those oil changes, the tires are more, there's so many things that are just more affordable. So we're just more comfortable with that financial decision.
And I think that look, I'm 47, I'm hoping I'm getting wiser. I think it's important in life to be able to let go of a dream. I that sounds crazy, but I think it is because, like, I say all the time, "I've always dreamed of having a motorhome," and maybe we still will one day, but maybe we won't, and that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. Like, when I was, in 8th grade, I wanted to play first base for the Yankees, and I gave up that dream, right? Like, it just
Uh,
wasn't something
this
that
is
was
a
gonna
little
work.
dramatic, okay, buddy. This is the problem is you always act like every decision is so like
I
forever
think
and
buying new
like
RVs, I think it's a very freighted decision for a lot of our listeners.
but it shouldn't be because honestly, that's I've said that over the years, like, you can say all you want you're shopping for your forever or you're not.
No.
Like, seasons change and this is not a home, and you really probably will want to change the RV, and you should make financial decisions accordingly, right? Like, you don't wanna get yourself in a situation where changing the RV to something else that would work better for your family is a financial problem. Like, you don't have to make decisions when you're 47 about what RV will be good for you when you're 60. You just don't. Don't push it, don't pressure yourself into it. Like, enjoy the season of life that you're in now and let go of all of the nonsense. This is not that big of a deal. It's an RV.
Okay, so didn't get the motorhome. We also did not get the Rockwood Roo 233S, hybrid travel trailer, and I think a lot of people in our group, when we were sort of teasing everybody about our 5 major contenders, I think a lot of people did not take us seriously that we were considering a Roo, because very few people voted for that in the poll I put up, and a lot of people kinda made comments like, "Oh, yeah, you'll get sick of that real quick," or just didn't take it seriously. I cannot stress enough that buying a Rockwood Roo was a major contender and something we talked about extensively.
Probably the other one at the top of the list, really, way over, like,
Absolutely
we've
the
ditched
second
the
choice.
motorized. Yeah, for sure. Why
Okay, so
didn't
then
you you go ahead and say your reason,
well,
and then I'll say
the
mine.
I can't quit Whitehorse RV Center, man. Like, I just can't. I don't wanna start over at another dealer where I don't know anybody. I mean, I know everybody at both of the locations for Whitehorse. I know the
Yeah.
service managers, I know the owner. We've bought a lot of RVs there, and that really matters, like, if
In this
he's
day and age, yes, right
yeah,
now for the landscape of this industry now, it matters.
and if he used to sell Jayco hybrids, and we've looked at Jayco hybrids over the years at his dealership, but Jayco doesn't make hybrids anymore. If he still
Yeah.
sold Jayco hybrids, oh my god, might have bought one because first of all, like, the price is great, like, you can get a hybrid in the low 30,000s right now, and that's super appealing to me. Our Grand Design Imagine was in the low 40,000s. To spend even $10,000 less, would have been super appealing to me. And I know a hybrid is a little bit tougher maybe in the winter or, like, late fall when it gets colder, but you can make it work, or B, we can just go, like, on a cabin camping trip. Like, I'm just not worried about that anymore, Like, we wanna go out on a trip, we're gonna go out on a trip. I think we could make the Roo work, and if not, we would just camp some different way.
Well, I think that it had to get off of my list because actually I think it's the perfect RV for our family right now camping, although somebody did mention the no door, and yes, but the bathroom is a lot bigger than it was with the Ember with not having a door. So I did feel like even though, yes, it wouldn't have the door, you could do curtains, right? Like, which are nice on the hybrid, beds. Um, but also I could just change in the bathroom. So, like, that wasn't a deal breaker, although, yes, it is a valid thing to point out.
It threw people
The
off
deal breaker
because
for
yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, just I had mentioned that, yeah, so it was a valid point, but, the deal breaker for me is that we use our RV so much outside of the camping space, right? Like, you're in the RV right now recording this podcast, and we just do that so much. So, having a hybrid setup in your driveway is not the same as having a hard-shelled travel trailer set up as a workspace, as a guest, quarters, all that kinda stuff.
I've been using since the Imagine showed up in the driveway 10 days ago, it's been my office every day. And I've gravitated out here. You've got a nice setup in the basement. For some reason, you don't want me sitting right next to you while you're working all day. I can't figure out why. But I have been in this Imagine every day as my office. And then when I think of all of those days I'll use it, hundreds of days during the year, and then all the camping trips will go in it, then the monthly payment seems like a bargain to me. And also,
Yeah.
this would be a super comfortable guest house. I mean, like, we have room in our house for friends, but if somebody wanted a little more privacy, this is perfect. Like, the alternate uses of the hard walled travel trailer definitely beat out the hybrid for sure. Good point. Now,
Alright, what's the next one?
the next we did not buy, obviously, one of the Grand Design Momentum toy haulers. And I can't stress enough, they're really nice. Fit and finish is really nice. Design is really nice. Why did we not buy them? $20,000 more than they Imagine, for one thing. Um, that was a big, big thing. They're not cheap toy haulers. Grand Design actually just came out with a simpler, less expensive toy hauler, really stripped down. But these are definitely more expensive. Also, I don't want to tow something wider and taller. I've towed a lot over 12 years, and the towing experience matters a lot to me. I wanted something that I was super comfortable towing without you in the car. If I take the boys on a boys trip, I'm going to the dealer to get something worked on. And look, my instincts on that were right. This Imagine tows incredibly nicely. It's like towing's a pleasure. If you get an RV you're comfortable towing, towing can actually be a fun part of the experience and not a stressful part of the experience. And I just remembered some of that stress I had towing the toy hauler, and I didn't want to have it again. And then also that bedroom up at the front that's on a slide out makes the tongue really heavy. And I do
Mhm.
just feel like over time that wears on the tires. It just makes it a less pleasurable towing experience to me. So those were the reasons we didn't go with the Grand Design Momentum toy haulers, though they're super cool. Really, really like them.
Yeah, and I knew that you'd be like, "I need a new truck," right? Because that's what everybody does. They're like, "Oh, it's fine," and then they get it, and then they say they need a new truck, and I was not going down that road. I'd already been our first toy hauler already put us down that new truck road, got rid of the 150, got the 250, and I was like, "We're not doing that again." So, I
And we still have that
love a
250,
paid off
right?
truck.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, like
Yep.
not having the truck payment is fantastic. I look forward to the day when we don't have the RV payment. I didn't tell you this, but I sent in the first payment for the Imagine, and I sent in a bunch extra. Like, I
Good for
sent in,
you.
like, an
That's what you
extra
gotta
300
do.
bucks or something because I was like, "I want this
Yeah,
thing
you
paid
can't
off."
oh, people, you can't actually pay an
Oh my
RV
god,
for 12 years
15-year,
or
12,
whatever
15-year
the length of
loan.
the loan is.
It'll be like 6
It's so
RVs later, and you're
ridiculous,
still
yeah.
paying off the loan. Okay, so then
No.
the other one, it really did come down to 2 RVs. It really didn't come down to the Rockwood Roo as the second choice. The Rockwood Roo is just, like, the second category. The Winnebago Mini 2801 BHS, which also Whitehorse has. Similar floor plan with some major differences we talked about in the last show. When I drove to Whitehorse the first time to look at them, I was certain I was gonna like the Winnebago better. It had the pantry, it had the sink in the outdoor kitchen, it had the rear receiver for a bike rack. I mean, it has a couple major things that the Imagine didn't have. Um, but I just gotta say it, the fit and finish was tighter on the Grand Design. Just all the trim, the little things, the way the cabinets open and close, like, just the things that are almost hard to explain, but just the feel of the construction. And look, I'm sitting in this RV right now. I have no idea what problems it's gonna cause me. or what problems it's not gonna cause me. I don't know. So I'm
You're
not
in the
si
honeymoon period.
oh, I'm not I just want everyone to know I'm not sitting here saying, "This is RV, the build is amazing on this RV." I don't know. Been in my driveway for 10 days. I'm just saying what
Yeah.
I could see, what I could deduce, what I was able to kinda touch and feel felt better made than the Winnebago, and it's not a knock on the Winnebago seemed fine construction-wise, but there was some trim that just didn't look like it was put on as nicely, and walking into the Grand Design, like, every little thing felt pretty precise. So I felt like the team that made it that day was better than the team that made the Winnebago that day, and, honestly, look, Stephanie, you know this, like, the components are the same in so many of these RVs. The floor plans are the same in
Yeah.
so many of the RVs, and honestly, what a lot of people don't realize is it comes down to the skilled labor making it. Like, is the
Mhm.
team in the factory that day a really good team as opposed to at the other factory with the other brand? And, you know, I don't know. I'm not the only one
Yeah.
saying this about Grand Design. It just feels like fit and finish is good. And I really wanted the
Mhm.
fit and finish to be good. I also like the really retro 70s interior. And the Winnebago Mini had a much more lighter interior, which I think is in more fashion now, but I'm almost getting sick of the
I
lighter
don't know
interior
if that's
already.
yeah, that's like, I mean, the RV industry happens to jump on a lot of trends as they're going out the door, and the same thing happened with that, like, farmhouse, like, that was never my personal style. I mean, we just got renovated a house over the last couple years, and you're not gonna find any modern farmhouse, in my home. Other people like it, but it was trendy, right? And, the RV industry basically started doing a lot of interiors like that as it was downtrending.
They're always
So,
late. They're always a day late and a dollar
yeah,
short. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think that that's what you're looking at,
Well,
that lighter there's other kinds of light interiors other than that modern farmhouse, but that's what a lot of them went to over the last few
okay,
years.
but I gotta try to get an answer out of you on this. Like, what do you think of the Grand Design interior? Like, you've been a little coy about whether you like it or not. I'm almost wondering if you haven't decided
Because I feel no,
yet.
I mean, look, do I like it? You're always like, "What do you?" Look, I'm not building I just I just built a house, right? Like,
You
I
are like the
know what
general
I like, and
contractor.
I am yeah, I am very particular about style, and I know what I like. I have a personal style that isn't like really super connected to trends and blah, 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 blah. Like, I just know what I like, and I, like, pull looks together based on that. So, like, there's no RV interior out there that's, like, off the shelf
You like not
my
off the shelf, but
style.
you
Like,
you like Airstream interiors. Come on.
uh, that's not really true. Like, I can rate RV interiors, right? Like, compared to each other. But when you start to ask me whether, like, I like it, then I feel like I'm like, "Well, do like, it's the best RV interior out there maybe," Or, yes, do I go for that more modern Scandinavian design that appears in Airstream? Yes, in the RV space. Do you see anything that looks like that in my home, which I just decorated top to bottom?
No, but to your point, there's
No,
no RV that looks like the
because it's
interior of
just
your
not
home.
my personal style.
But
So you're putting me on the spot here, so now I have to explain this to people. So the thing is that the it ironically, the interior of this Grand Design is closer to my personal style than almost anything out there because it has I hate to say I'm mid-century modern because then people, like, think she, like, mid-century modern. I'm much more eclectic than that. I like a lot of, like, the bow it's like I'm this weird, like, boho chic with mid-century, with
with
coastal
this little kick of
undertones,
coastal,
like,
this little kick of outdoorsy.
I I have a thing. I have a mix that I always do. But the interior of the Grand Design actually does go for this sort of mid-century modern retro look, and funny enough, we just bought a house that was built in the '70s. It had the same kind of thing going for it, and I tried to kind of stay true to that in some of the renovations, so I feel like it fits in.
I love how you explain myself to me. because I walked into the Grand Design the first time, and the first time I walked into it, you weren't with me, and I felt at home. I felt comfortable. I liked the way it looked. I liked the way the seats felt. Like everything about it felt homey. And you just explained to me that it has an interior decor that's kind of like the interior decor of our home. Like, wow, you just kind of blew my mind.
Some yeah, don't push it, buddy. But yeah, like the clean lines, right, are super important to me, and this one does have the clean lines. It is like a neutral palette. So if you look, I'm a little over the D's where I go overboard in the inside of an RV. That was fun for a while, but at the same time, I'm more pragmatic about the RV at this point, and I want it to do a really good job of taking us to places that I wanna go and being a comfortable place to stay in. But I also know what I like, and we'll figure it out. Like, it was so funny when I did my Airstream, like, I outfitted the interior to be comfortable for me, and somebody online was like, "That's too many pillows."
I remember that. You
I was like, why are you trying to gatekeep the number of pillows I have in my RV? Like,
if
I
there is
really
one thing in life that is subjective, it's like how many pillows you use. Like everybody,
It's
look,
like, how many pillows? Like, what?
life is hard enough. We don't need other people telling us how firm our pillows should be,
Yeah,
how
she's like,
many pillows we should
you're
have.
gonna not like
Well, that's
those
like
pillows." I was
people
like, "I I'm 40 something years old. How do you think I don't know my
she's
pillow quotient
41.
by now?" I know. I have a lot of pillows, and I love my pillows. You know what our bed's like here at the house.
I
I
have to
want
move
pillows on my
them. I
bed.
have to move the pillows to get into bed at
Yeah,
night, but it's like people ask me
yeah.
like, "Am I gonna love that Zinus mattress? You and Stephanie always love the Zinus mattresses. Am I
Uh,
gonna love it?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I can't
can't
tell
tell
you
you
what
that.
mattress. That's
Can't tell
personal.
you.
That's
Can't
personal.
tell you
Don't
how many
ask me if
pillows you
things are
want in your
going."
bed.
Yeah. So we kind of jumped into the second segment. So let's take a break right now. We'll come back and talk about all of the other reasons why we bought the Grand Design Imagine 2800 BH. But first, we have a sponsored message from our friends at Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park Camp Resorts. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are talking about why we did buy the Grand Design Imagine 2800 BH from our dealer, Whitehorse RV. And we just kind of cheated into this segment and talked about some of the reasons why we bought this trailer in terms of fit and finish, interior decor, and stuff like that. But there were other reasons. So when we got seriously RV shopping, I went out to the Florida RV Super Show, and I didn't go out there to shop. I went out there for a big project for Go RVing, but of course I'm in the midst of RV shopping, so I took that opportunity to. I mean, I walked into 100 RVs, and I looked at the displays of almost every manufacturer in the industry. And one thing that really did impress me about Grand Design and some of the other companies, actually, it also impressed me about Winnebago, is the owner culture. So if you go to a big show, not your average RV show, this is not going to work. If you go to Hershey or Tampa and you want to figure out what RVs are making people the happiest in terms of quality, in terms of everything, go to the display and see if there's a lot of owners hanging out just because they want to hang out. Like at the Grand Design display, there was like 50 people there who clearly were not shopping. They owned Grand Designs and they wanted to visit the Grand Design people. And there are certain manufacturers that have that magic and others that don't, where you walk into another manufacturer's display, there's not all these owners hanging out, people that know each other from the forums, people that camp at rallies together, all that stuff. So I'll give credit where credit's due. Winnebago's got that big time. Winnebago owners show up at Florida to hang out with each other. Grand Design owners show up at Florida to hang out with each other. Um, I like Steph. Can you
Some
think of
do, and I just have to say out there for any listeners that are thinking, "I'm not buying an RV to make friends or hang out with people," I just wanna say that's okay too.
It's
Like,
not
the
just about making
introvert in me
friends.
salutes
They have
you.
a they have a warm. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's people who have a warm feeling about what they purchased
Yeah, yeah, it brings
and
them
want
joy,
to.
right?
It
And
brings
they
them
wanna share
joy,
that joy.
and they also want to go see the new ones because they're already planning on purchasing that same company
Right.
again. People
Yeah, I
get
think that
hooked
that's
into
true.
certain companies and they just stay with them. And
Yeah, if
I'm
you're
not
happy,
saying,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, look,
And let's address this right now because people were commenting on the fact that we didn't get a Jayco, on a lot of social media and in the group. We lo we loved our Jaycos. Like, this was not we were not buying a Jayco. Like, that's not what
100%.
happened here. I
100%.
and if yeah, and I really do wanna say that, like, we had, like, when we're talking about RV quality and RV experience over the years, I mean, we talk about this offline, like, privately. Like, we could count on one hand the number of issues that we had with RVs over the years. And some of them were user error, right? Like we did things or we didn't know how to work something or whatever. Um, and some of them were little knick-knacky things that if you were paying attention, you'd figure out quickly, right? Like we had a great owner experience with our Jaycos. So this was
Incredible.
more about, yeah, like this was, yeah, yeah, amazing.
It
And
wasn't a
this was more
rejection of
about,
buying a Jayco at all.
no,
Even though, like, we
right,
used to
right.
work with Jayco, we don't work them anymore. It wasn't about that at all. Now, do I know the current
It wasn't.
quality of 2023 Jaycos? Not super well, obviously, but the
We're
White Hawk,
not super close to that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the White Hawk, 6 years with no problems.
Mhm.
6 years. The only time it went back to the dealer was when I broke something.
Yeah,
The
but no, the same
Octane
with the
the
Octane was
Octane had a
amazing
leaky shower, which my
because
friend Chris
one
helped me
of the
fix.
pipes just wasn't
Something
threaded
wasn't
right.
tightened.
So we just,
We
like,
caught
went
it,
under and tightened the pipe. Yeah.
fixed it. The Eagle, for 2 years, I did not go back to our dealer. When I finally
No,
did go
never
back, I was like, "Man, I haven't seen you in a while." I was like, "That means that
yeah.
literally nothing has
Yeah,
been wrong with that Eagle."
yeah.
So, no, it
But
was,
then it was just about us. We were also very agnostic about brand too. So, like, to your point, like, when we were looking around, look, Grand Design has built a reputation, over the last years. And so we felt like it was an interesting place
yeah,
to tread into, right?
but I'll say this, I'll trade this thing in next year and go to something else,
Oh,
like,
when he's
whatever.
playing the
I'm
field.
just letting everybody know, like, what I'll get we're gonna get what we're
Is
gonna
that
get,
he's like on RV Tinder right now.
I guess that when you like, that could be exciting for people, right? Like getting on Tinder after, being in a relationship. Okay. So other things that really made us pull the trigger and put the money down on this thing. Um, Thoughtful storage everywhere in a 32-foot rig. A 32-foot rig's not that big, but
Right.
it's a cliche to say it, but every inch has been thought out in this thing. There's storage cubbies next to the beds with USB ports, perfect for a cup of water and your book and your headlamp, whatever. There's an ottoman right beneath where I'm sitting that has a flip up top where I'm going to keep all of our games, like card games and board games and stuff. When you walk in the door over there, there's a little cabinet that's perfect for like the dog leash, the doggy bags, the keys. The front of the RV has the drop down chassis. So the floor doesn't go straight across all the way to the front. It drops down and creates a massive amount of storage in the front. And it just had like they thought through this thing, man. Like they nailed this floor plan. I'm not speaking about every design floor plan ever made, but like they thought about this one and how people camp and what it's like to be in an RV for long stretches of time. I mean, sometimes you go into an RV and you're like, well, why did they put storage here? It just doesn't make sense with how people use an RV. And like this one, just the
Or
people
it's
that design
storage that's like fake storage. It's like storage that people when they're shopping are like, "Oh, look at the storage." And then you're like, there's absolutely nothing practical that could fit in there,
that's how
or
I
it won't
felt.
stay in there, or that happens all the time.
I kept saying that I love that Grand Design the Winnebago pantry on the
Yeah.
2801 BHS. I was, "Oh, the pantry, the pantry, the pantry. Stephanie's got a pantry." And you were like, you're just like, I don't know, you
I'm
didn't get
like, "That's
excited about it.
stupid."
And then
It's
but then
fine.
I
Some
think
people
it's
might
fake
love
it's
it,
like
but
fake storage. You can walk
it's fake
into it,
storage.
but then it has open shelves. So I'm gonna stock
Why
all
do
the
I
food,
want to walk in? I want that space to be usable. I don't wanna
but
walk
then you walk in and
in.
there's open shelves. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
put all my food on open shelves in a
No,
walk-in
you would have
pantry.
had
It'll all
to
go flying
mod
when you're
No,
driving.
it would have all had to be modified with bins that were, like, roped in, with, like, bungeed in order. The whole thing was just like a
Why
walking
do I gotta do
nightmare
that?
to me.
Yeah, but I'm
I
saying,
don't want
like,
a
why do I
pantry.
have to fix your walk-in pantry so it makes more sense?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
stuff will fly everywhere. Open cabinetry in RVs is not cabinetry, it's decoration. So if you walk into an
It's
RV,
trick. It's a trick.
it's nothing. You can't use it in
It
transit.
tricks people.
Am I
"Look,
gonna
there's a
set up
shelf."
am I gonna pack once I get there? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you have to end
So
up putting up netting. Yeah.
thoughtful storage touches galore. The heated massage chairs are really nice. They're really comfortable.
Okay.
Like, they were a real
Can we
selling
go
point.
past that? They
You
were
could
I
care
don't think
less?
don't buy it. Anybody out there, don't buy look, I did feel like I missed like, our Eagle was like a trim level up from this,
Yeah,
and
this
I
is imagines the equivalent of, a Jayco Whitehawk. An
yeah,
Eagle's the equivalent of a Grand Design Reflection.
right.
This is like a Whitehawk trim point.
Yeah,
It's a
so
lightweight trailer.
yeah. So it was like, yes, I've had a little bit more luxury and this is and I'm losing some of that. And it just it was like a noted thing, like, but it wasn't like we're gonna make the decision based on that. Cause yes, those luxuries are nice, but they're not necessary to be comfortable in an RV for us.
They're also $20,000 more. I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, if we had
Right.
gone up to the
Yeah.
reflection line above Imagine, like, I'm pretty sure I'm looking at 60K, like 40K. I didn't pay
Yeah.
40K, I paid a little more
Just
than that,
not really super interested.
and I
And also
also
the kitchen was is a good size, like, for what we've used in the past. Like, the Eagle kitchen worked well for us. We cook in our RV, not everybody does, and it is super nice not to have to navigate no counter space.
the Eagle was 32 feet 11 inches. This is 32 feet. There's nowhere for a garbage can in the Grand Design. In the kitchen, I can't figure out where I'd put a garbage can, and I keep thinking
I think yeah, I know.
the Eagle was 11 inches longer, and they had a whole place for a garbage can. So, you stretch out an RV, you get more. Um,
Yeah,
were you
yeah.
gonna say you know where you're gonna put the garbage can in here?
I think so. I don't wanna talk about it on the podcast, though.
Okay, I'll
I don't
let you
wanna
think
have this
about that more.
personal conversation about a garbage can.
Last couple things that helped us pull the trigger on the Grand Design. There's double over double bunks. There's a dinette that we are probably going to convert into, like, a semi-permanent bed. We can talk more about that later. So all 3 boys have a real bed, a permanent bed or semi-permanent bed, but yet then there's still 2 seats, still the heated massage chairs that are right behind me. Because what often happens at night is you relax in the bedroom and read in the master bedroom. Max and Theo and Wes all want to lie in their bed and like goof off on their phones for a little bit. But then I like to sit in a chair and read. And the Eagle didn't have that. It just had a chase lounge. So now we're back to having those chairs. So everyone can have a bed and we still have some seating, but yet it's 32 feet, which hits my sweet spot for towing. The bathroom's also nice, but you pointed out something about the bathroom that's kind of a limitation or that you were like,
The sink is miniature.
I wasn't gonna
It's
say
miniature.
miniature. Yeah, the sink
It
in the
is, it's
bathroom is
miniature. It's
really
like a toy
small.
sink. It's like a toy sink, I don't get it. I haven't seen a sink that small in a rig that size. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weirdly small, which probably means water
What
splashing
do you want me to say?
everywhere with our
That's the
messy
thing is if
kids.
you
No, I
wash your
just wanted
face,
you to
water is gonna
speak
be
the truth.
everywhere. Yeah.
Um,
All right.
Last thing, I like the exterior look. I think it's a sharp looking travel trailer. I don't know if Stephanie necessarily agrees, but I like the
Stop. Don't
way
we don't need to go down
well,
this road again where I explain that literally there's no RV out there that I'm like, "Look, it's so pretty."
okay.
The retro, vintage ones, but
Alright,
I
we're
don't
gonna
wanna
come
actually camp in a vintage RV.
No, not with the kids. Alright, we're gonna come back in a second, talk about modifications that we've made already and modifications that we want to make. But first, we have a sponsored message from our friends at Camco. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Now it's time to talk about the modifications that we are making and that we want to make to the Grand Design Imagine. We'll run through the list pretty quickly just to give you some ideas of things that we've used over the years and that we want back in this RV. I had the dealer install the Max Air vent fan with remote in the bedroom. It is one of my favorite modifications, one of my favorite add-ons. I didn't want to like do that myself, so I had the dealer do it. We love that Max Air vent fan because it has many speeds, and you can lower it to a speed that's nice and quiet. And I don't like your typical fan is just super loud, and these are nice and quiet, and they can suck the hot air out, bring the cool air in, and you can also close the top and use them as a ceiling fan. So we added the Max Air vent fan. We love them. The outdoor kitchen, I basically am just removing everything in the outdoor kitchen. Like, it has,
There's,
like,
like,
the
pieces of it lying on the ground outside.
in the driveway, there's pieces of the I'm sorry, I gotta bring them to the recycling center. So, there was a non-black stone There was a non-Blackstone griddle. I gave it to one of the guys at White Horse RV because I'm not having a non-Blackstone griddle in my RV. There was a mini
Gave
fridge.
it to the guy.
Somebody
Jeez.
he really wanted it. There's like a mini fridge, like one of those college dorm fridges that are in every single travel trailer on planet Earth. And I looked at you and I was like, "Do we have to have this in here?" And you were like, "No, get rid of it." So, pulled it out, got rid of the fridge. We always keep a cooler filled with drinks outside, and it holds a lot more drinks than the mini fridge. So just felt no need for that. Reclaimed all that for storage space. The griddle was on a slide out, this Moride slide out tray. That's what's sitting in the driveway right now. I
Mm.
apologize. We'll get rid of that. So I turned everything in the outdoor kitchen into storage. That's what I wanted to do. Um, Now, the next couple of add-ons are things that you got us into over the years. So, what are a couple things you really want to add?
Yeah, we the things that I hate. First of all, if you buy an RV, please don't get online and complain about the mattress. You just need to buy yourself a new mattress. RV mattresses are like you buy this whole RV so that you're more comfortable than you were when you were tent camping or cabin camping or whatever. If you sleep on an RV mattress, you will not be more comfortable than that for the most part. There may be some exceptions out there. So just please just go ahead and swap it out. Save yourself. I'm not going to tell you. We've been using these Zionist ones for years. They're so affordable, so comfortable. People will say, "Oh, well, it's the memory foam. Does it, will it make me hot? Will I sweat?" I don't know. You have to know your own mattress type. Everybody is different. But the Zionist works for us and it does work for a lot of people, especially at the price point that it's at. The price point's just phenomenal.
We just ordered
Another
one
thing
for
that I
200
cannot live without
bucks.
is the yeah, you can't beat that. And it every mattress has always lasted us like the life of the RV that we've had, the whole time that we've had the RV. Another modification that I cannot live without is the RV lock. It's the keyless lock entry. We swapped I think we put our first one on
The Octane,
I don't remember
or maybe the White
the
Hawk.
Octane. Or maybe I think I might have put one on the White Hawk. But it's just like a game changer to not have to be searching for those RV keys, to know that you have the little remote on your keys or that you have the key that you could just enter in. So when your kids go back from the pool and they went back, but oh wait, it's locked, right? They don't have to come back to the pool or whatever. It just if you've RV'd for a little while, you've probably had your fair share of key debacles and the RV lock solves all that and I love it to death.
And
What else?
it's an easy install. Yeah, and the most of the rest of these are really things that I know you're going to want, and
Oh, the
I will
Oxynogenics, yeah, the Oxynogenics is one that's again, a
Oxygenics.
no-brainer. S It's not
It's Oxygenics.
Oxygenics?
Ox
What did I put
promise.
an extra syllable in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, these just swap out your shower head, right? There's no reason did you already do this out there or
I bought
not
the
yet?
new
Oh,
Oxygenics.
okay.
It's in the garage with
Okay.
all the stuff, so I've gotta do an install or convince you to do it.
Yeah, well, it takes like 10 minutes tops to do it. So, this is just one of the easiest ways to have a more comfortable again, you bought an RV for a comfortable shower, probably a comfortable bed. So, do these things to just make it a little bit better. Um, I don't know how I can live without on-demand hot water. That sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but it's another thing. The Truma is another thing that we've had for years and years. And when we've rented RVs without it, I'm like, oh, how does anybody live like this? I can't
Well,
even take it.
the Grand Design so here's the trick. The Grand Design has the Furion on-demand water system, and I'm gonna be really
We'll see.
honest, yeah, I'm not
We'll see.
I'm not I don't have super high hopes that it's gonna match the Truma AquaGo.
It
So, I
it's
think
not
we're
the Germans.
no, it's not German engineering. I think we'll end up with the AquaGo. It's they're not cheap, it's definitely over
No,
$1,000
I
now.
know.
But
We'll see. I
it's
know it's probably I haven't looked at the price of it in a long time because the last one we had installed was the Eagle like 4 years ago now.
yeah, the
So,
price could have gone way
yikes.
up. I don't know. And they don't
Yeah.
advertise the price. Like you really got to get to the point where you're about to buy it and put it in to get the price. The Truma AquaGo delivers the hot water quickly, efficiently, and it just keeps going. going and going. And I hear that the Furion one does take a while to warm up, that you're sitting there for a while waiting for it to warm up. We are also definitely adding a big solar package. This
Yeah.
this has the Grand Design solar package, which is like one panel and a solar controller. It's not
Yeah.
there's not even an
It's like
AGM or
charge your
lithium
cell phone,
battery.
thanks.
It's
Yeah.
not so look, we have friends at Go Power. We're gonna work with Go Power, hopefully, on getting a really, really awesome solar system. I might be a beta tester for some really cool new stuff, and it would basically just be like removing what we have right now. It'll be sitting in the driveway
Yeah,
at
because
some point.
I that's another thing, it's just, like, once you've had the solar, it's just really hard to go without it. So,
Yeah, and for us,
we're
we're in New
spoiled.
Jersey. There's not tons of quote unquote boondocking around here. There's not BLM land around here, but there's great harvest host options in New Jersey. And we love state park camping at Aztec Island. We do that every fall, and there's no hookups there. I mean, there is electric, but we can never get one of those electric sites. So even though we're from the East Coast where boondocking's not as popular, we still want a solar package. I want a solar package that can get me 3 to 4 nights of boondocking and I'll be absolutely thrilled. All right, we're going to come back in a second and talk about some listener modifications. But before we do so, we have a sponsored message from our friends at Go RVing. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Now it is time to talk about some modifications that our listeners are making. I asked everyone in the RV Atlas group on Facebook what mods they were making this year, and I got tons and tons of answers. So I can't get everybody in here, but let's mention some of the things that some of the members of the RV Atlas group are doing. So Tom McMahon is changing the interior lights to LED, and that's one of the things that about 10 people said they're doing. Right? That sounds like I guess
Huh.
that's yeah. I just think that
I
it's
feel like
probably
so
gotten
many of them come with LED now, so this must be maybe people with used that are, like, trying to upgrade to that
or you
or
have a
huh,
5-year-old
okay.
RV and now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're much cheaper.
Well, that's been something that I've been keeping an eye on is how many people or who may have traded in, right? Because we all know that people keep their RVs actually data shows do not keep their RVs very long, under 5 years for the majority of RV owners. So what I'm wondering is if there's people that would normally come along that buy cycle that because of wonky RV pricing right now are going to keep the RV that they already own instead
That's
of
very
doing a
true.
trade. And you might be seeing some of these mods happen like, "Okay, well, we're gonna keep it. Let's make it a little better. Let's make it a little more comfortable."
Well, and that seems like a quick, easy, and affordable one to do. Guy Frederick is doing the DIY roof mount AC airflow mod to reduce noise and improve flow. And so let me stop there for a second. He's doing something else. A bunch of people mentioned this. This is like one of those things that people are doing now. So there's this mod and I'm not super familiar with this to be honest, but a lot of RV air conditioners are really loud. We've learned that over the years.
Mhm.
So there's a modification you can do to make them quieter. Guy is also insulating the underbed part of the storage pass through because you can get some cold air coming up and behind the master bed because that's your front storage unit, basically your front storage area.
Yeah, and some people struggle with, like, having actually some mold or mildew grow on that panel under your mattress because of that differential in the temperature in your RV and then in
That's
that
why that
pass-through.
happens. I'm so dumb
The more you know, Jar.
sometimes. I know. It's so
The
logical.
more you know.
I was wondering, why are people talking about mold? Well, we never had that problem, so I never thought
No, we
about it, I
haven't.
guess. Nick
Yeah, I don't
Missler
know if it's
is
because we always had more insulation, like, with, underbellies and stuff, I don't know, but, well,
it
there you
never
go.
had mold under the bed. Nick
We
Missler
never
is
did.
adding a pop top to his camper van. This
Love it.
guy's, like, ripping a hole out of the roof of his camper van and putting a
I
pop
know,
top
that's
in. You
something
go,
that
man.
yeah, it's like a rule that we have, like, already these mods, a couple of them have, included cutting into things. That is something we do not do, like, we pay other people to cut
I
into
get
the
nervous putting in
roof
the RV
of
lock,
our
and you just have to, like, unscrew it and pull
Yeah.
it out and put the to cut anything. And I'm like, "Oh my
We
god,
do not cut holes in
I gotta
RV.
remove the Phillips head. The RV might fall apart."
But
Um,
more power to the people that do it.
Nick's also adding solar. Tons of people said they're adding an extra lithium battery, they're adding, solar, et cetera, and I think a lot of people add lithium batteries because 'cause they're so expensive, right? So you get your RV and maybe have one, and then every year you add one until you eventually get what you wanna get because they can be like $1,000 a pop. Justin Brammer is hoping for solid steps and a tankless water
Mhm.
heater. I I
2
can't
very good
imagine.
choices.
I don't know that Maggie can get up the non-solid steps anymore.
Well, if you have dogs, it's honestly very difficult for dogs to navigate those steps, and they can be very tricky on their nails and stuff like that. So solid steps for people and pets are a good choice.
Sharon Lund Powell is replacing her uncomfortable sofa with Rec Pro recliners, also replacing her dinette
Mm.
cushions with Rec Pro cushions. I feel like I need to go look at Rec Pro's website because I never heard
I
of them.
know. I know people all over the place are Googling right now. Their traffic website just went up.
Stock just went up. Laura Pettit
Rec Pro.
Rusick is, and I apologize if I'm getting anybody's name wrong, recently changed to the RV Lock keyless. That's very popular product.
Yep.
Lots of people have it.
Good job. You'll love it.
Ter- Teresa wants a new 30 amp power cord and lithium batteries. Everybody wants the lithium
Yeah.
batteries. I still think AGMs are pretty darn good.
Well, sure, they are, like, especially I think it's, like, bang for your buck, right? Like, if you're like us and we always, like, don't spend like, it's like we spend money, but we don't, like, get the best of the best for our RV a lot. Like, we're kind of in that Consumer Reports, like, has the best value. They always, like, whenever they're, like, ranking everything, it'll always be, like, the best value. I feel like that's always the one we go with.
I'm an Amazon's choice guy. Okay.
Amazon Choice,
Kim,
yeah.
three different people, Kim, a different Kim, and Tamara all said they're adding new backsplash on the wall,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
fun.
behind the kitchen. Yeah, it sounds like a cool project. If you're somewhat
Yeah.
handy, I think that's something you could do. Daniel Ruiz is going to reupholster the dinette seats and maybe the sofa, among other projects. Tina Armejo wants to add two 100 amp hour lithium batteries. As I just mentioned, I think people added them in stages. Nick is transforming an older travel trailer into a Philadelphia Eagles tailgate mobile. He actually posted a picture of
Oh,
this old travel trailer he bought. It must be like a second RV. And he's turning it
yeah.
into his Philadelphia Eagles tailgate machine.
I'm
That's
not gonna
awesome.
comment on the Philadelphia Eagles part of it,
Forget that
but
part. He's turning it into a
besides
tailgating
that,
machine. That is
it's
so
fun.
cool. He better post you Nick, if you're
Yeah,
listening, you better post pictures of this as
I
you do that in the
know. I
RV
hope we
Atlas group.
see that. Yeah.
Cindy has a 1999 A-liner and the refrigerator is just a cooler. So she's removing it and adding a 12-volt Demende fridge. I thought that was a typo
Yeah.
and she
Is
meant
that
a Dometic Fridge. It's actually a brand,
that's what I
Demende.
Oh, I thought the same exact thing. I thought, "Do we mean Dometic here?" Yeah.
I
But
looked up
either
Demende
way,
fridges.
okay, another thing we're Googling. We learn so much every day, but that's another thing that people out there, even whether or not you have an A-liner or whatever, like, just upgrading to a 12-volt cooler, maybe a really cool upgrade to help you kind of manage your food and drinks and stuff.
And prices are coming down on those 12-volt coolers. There's starting to be some good ones for like
Yeah.
$500 instead of 1,000. Nancy says she had to sell her RV because her hubby has health issues, but will be back. And I love that
Oh,
comment. I
we know
love
you
that
well.
optimism. Nancy, we
Nancy,
know
tell your
you will be back.
husband we hope he's doing well.
Amanda says the modification she's going to make to her RV is to make it a bunkhouse. Okay, so we're actually going to have to buy a new one. A lot of people had some little funny jokes.
She's her modification is a new RV.
Well, for most people, it is. Nathan Rathmel says the modification he will be making is to its location. Get it?
Yeah. Well,
He's gonna.
Nathan has been through a lot of RVs. He's done a fair share of RV shopping over the years.
I think he
So,
just means
it's
he's gonna
fine.
take it
He'll get
camping.
a pass.
I think
Yeah,
he's
no,
saying
that's
he's
what I
gonna
mean.
right
Like, okay.
modify the location, take it camping. So
Yeah, he can get a pass on modifications this year and just go camping.
okay, that was it. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones in the RV Atlas group on Facebook, but good luck to everybody with all of your modifications this year. I hope you all wish us luck with the new Grand Design Imagine
Share
2800
them
BH.
in the Facebook group
Yeah, as you
when
do them,
you
share
do
them. Yeah,
them,
awesome.
because then
Well,
other people get to say,
Stephanie, thank you for coming onto the podcast after having like 18 meetings in a row this morning. I know you had a really
"Just
busy
another
morning.
day. It's just
Just
another
another
day.
day at
It's
the
what I do."
but at least it's at the home
At the
office,
home
isn't
office, it's what I do.
did you get a lunch break?
No, before we started, that's what I said. I said, "You have to give me 15 minutes because I have to eat something."
And I actually wanted to
So it
text
was
you
a
like
very,
3
very late
questions. I
lunch.
actually wanted to text you like 3 questions, but I stopped myself because I was like, "She needs her 15-minute
Oh,
lunch
look at
break."
you practicing self-control.
All right, everybody,
Congratulations.
we will be back next Friday. We're releasing the RV Atlas podcast every Friday morning between now and December. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate every download, and we hope to see all of you at the campground.
See you at the campground.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the RV Atlas.
To find out more about the topics discussed on this show, head on over to thervatlas.com.
And to join the friendliest group of RVers, head on over to the RV Atlas group on Facebook and make sure to join us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at the RV Atlas.
If you enjoy our show, please consider leaving us a review over on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
And we will see you at the campground.
See you at the campground.